2 Super Bowls in the last 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowl MVPs,
Two NFL
2 regular
MVPs.
season MVPs, and he's going to be 28 this year. Like, he still has 3 years left before he's even 30.
He in those 5 seasons as a starter, he's played in the AFC Championship game every time.
Like, the level to which he has performed is really staggering. And through, like,
And with the team being on him too, like this is not Brady hate that I'm shoehorning into this, but the Patriots teams to start out his career, he was able to get integrated more into the team because their structure was one that was more defensively focused, at least at the beginning. And I know they put up over 30 against the Eagles when they beat them as well. But for Mahomes, the whole team is structured around the explosiveness of the offense, and he is so central to that. The fact that in every year of us as a starter, he's been in the AFC title game is just unbelievable to me. People are getting used to what we're seeing, but we're experiencing history with Mahomes right now.
and I also think it bears repeating that, obviously, besides also seeing some pretty historic performing from Travis Kelce as well and their connection with each other. I think it would have been completely reasonable, and I think it happened a decent amount to think, or at least for us before the season started, to consider what the ramifications would be for this Chiefs offense and this Chiefs team with Tyreek Hill now on the Dolphins,
Right.
and not having the release valve and the speed and the like route running and catching ability of Tyreek Hill, who is probably one of the top 5, 6 best receivers in the entire league.
For sure.
And,
I mean, for those years with Kansas City, I would say he was one.
Oh,
just
totally.
because for his route running, he's not even a precise route runner.
It's the speed and the agility and the
What
lateral
he did for the
quickness,
rest
yeah.
of the team was not even on the stat sheet because he would draw the defense so deep that
Right.
it made Mahomes' whatever
He could carve out so much other space when
right,
there
but
was that much
whatever
attention on
learning curve
Tyreek.
Mahomes had, which felt like nothing, even though he redshirted his first year,
Right.
that definitely aided that.
Absolutely.
So
And so with all that being said, I really do think I understand that some of the expectations might have been we have to see what this team will look like without that partnership. And given the numbers and given how they performed, especially given how they performed this offseason, even with Mahomes not entirely healthy, it didn't seem to make all that much of a difference, clearly, or like it didn't really seem to affect them all that much in terms of how offensively effective they could be. And I think that also just goes to show you that, as you were saying, the fulcrum will be and is Mahomes, and taking that bet on that being the case, which is clearly been borne out, that it's very clear that the cause and effect is that if Mahomes is there, then the offense will run.
yeah,
The offense did not go off a cliff because Tyreek Hill left.
no, it
The
actually
offense continued-
diversified it.
Right, it
because he
diversified
was-
it. The run game was so
yeah.
much more robust. Like,
Well, Isaiah Pacheco, let's also give him his flowers. New Jersey native, so we
yes,
always root
Rutgers
for those
Scarlet
guys.
Knight, let's go.
I guess I don't know if he's from Jersey, but he played at Rutgers.
Played at Rutgers, yeah.
Either way, he really added a different dimension to the run game, and he got just completely. I thought he got split in half on that
Yeah,
tackle,
right.
And he was shaken up, but came back into the game and ran hard as well. The Chiefs were dominated for the first half.
Yeah.
Dominated. And if you were to, people have said this is kind of reductive, but if you were to draft players from all of the starting rosters outside of the quarterback position, the Eagles would have more players in terms of who's better. It's the best offensive line I've seen in years. In years. The pass rush and the depth that they have there, they have more guys that can make plays on that defensive line than just Frank Clark and Chris Jones, who are kind of the two-man show there, and they stepped up as well. Maybe you would take like Nick Bolton, who had an incredible game.
Which I mean, I think guys like that having, and
Yeah.
Pacheco and almost on the other end, Bolton is like two really young guys, not first round picks necessarily, like
Right.
having huge impacts in the biggest game of the season, I think is also just such a testament to that coaching staff
Out of
too.
Mizzou, I think he was a second or third round pick,
Hmm.
Nick Bolton. I remember really liking him coming out of the draft as well, but whatever. That's just when I see linebackers like that, I'm just reminded of how terrible the Giants linebacking core is.
It's
But point is those two corners, you would take Bradbury and Darius Slay
yes, over
over.
Justin Reed, Jalen
Yeah.
Watson, or
Yeah, and
L'Jarius
they didn't
Sneed,
have
Wan'Thorne
bad
Hill.
games either. I mean, there was that deep bomb to AJ Brown that we can discuss as well. But just back to Mahomes, I know it's boring. I know people feel like the league is biased on behalf of him, and they're biased towards their stars. That's not a new phenomenon, but all of that is just a sideshow. We should be talking about what we are witnessing right now. And he's already Elway and Brady. That I mean, he's already in that category right now, especially now that he has those two rings. So, Elway kind of joined the championship ring. I don't know, ethos, whatever. Again, we're tired.
Pantheon, or
Yeah,
echelon.
Pantheon as well. And
It's
Mahomes is in his 20s.
And because I think that's what you have to consider is just the runway is still so long for him. He still can. The scary thing for me, and not even scary, I just more mean like in terms of like considering what's so daunting about like the future for him is that, and that might not be the exact right word because I don't see it as like a problem or anything sort of like intimidating. I more mean like for the league, he could potentially still improve. Like he could still get better. He can still
Yeah.
his decision making could get even better. His ingenuity passing the ball, his scrambling could get better. He's not even 28 yet. He's 27. Like
It's just
he's still like he is still in the prime of his career. This isn't 2 Super Bowl wins, 5 straight AFC championships, four total MVPs, both in the Super Bowl and in the regular season, at like Brady's age, at
Yeah.
Rodgers' age, at Stafford's age. This is a guy who's younger than Dak Prescott, and he has all of these accolades and has earned them, and has also been the driving force behind them, despite the significant level of adversity that he faced in this game specifically when he looked to be in really agonizing pain.
Oh my God, a
They
high
couldn't
ankle
even hide it
sprain.
on the camera that he was wincing
Yeah.
and clearly in agony on the sideline. I was almost convinced that Chad Henne was going to come out in relief at some point because of that, but he gutted it out. Whatever they helped him with on the sideline at halftime or in the locker room at halftime, like who knows? But
He said
he
he
came
didn't
out-
get a pain injection, but I don't necessarily know what.
and I don't fault him either way. I just more mean it was amazing to see him not only come out and basically I think if I'm not mistaken, whether it was a field goal or a touchdown, I think they scored on literally 5 straight possessions or something like that.
Yeah.
And he still was pinging passes with accuracy, even if they were kind of short area passes. He was still facilitating the offense, and in that last scramble to get them into field goal range, like that's heroic
So
stuff.
clutch.
Like that's stuff like he was clearly in pain, and to be able to do that and stay in the game and win the game is really. It's hard not to verge on cliche or kind of like cheesy sort of platitudes, but like this is kind of the stuff that you see, at least for me, where it's like you're hard pressed to not be reduced to almost like childish reductions of like we just saw like a really like superhuman person turn in a superhuman performance with like real obstacles in his way.
He had those obstacles with that ankle in the AFC Championship game and in the divisional game as well. When that happened, and he still won those games and gritted it out as well. He is, for me, for my money, already the greatest quarterback I've ever seen in my life. He has the physical talent that I fell in love with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, that you can fall in love with guys like Elway, and the clutchness of a Brady. I mean, he lives for the moment. He lives for these kinds of moments. And it's just he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer, special, extra, top of the line Hall of Famer, gold jacket, but with gold plating. Give it to him already.
And he also just like I understand obviously like he still has a lot of his career left. There's still probably more MVPs to be won, more more accolades to be bestowed upon him. But I think when you just look at it from a purely like when you look at it from a style of play standpoint and from a like the way that the game is kind of shifted because of how he plays. It's because now you do need somebody who is not only a really smart player with a great arm and it can kind of operate out of structure like this, as well as scramble, as well as be nimble on on their feet. That's kind of a template now. But the difference between Mahomes and anybody who kind of resembles him is that he, except for maybe Josh Allen, I wouldn't say it happens nearly at the same level of volume, and also Mahomes doesn't get sacked anymore. I think that's a huge
Zero
difference.
sacks last night with that defensive line.
Which is an unbelievable.
Great job, Chiefs offensive line.
Of course, especially while I'll tip my cap to them in a second. But with that being said, given how many the kind of disparity in negative plays between Allen and Mahomes, Mahomes is the guy who's doing like one of one unique, like never seen before pass plays or run plays, like almost in a game by game basis. Like even last night, that Kelsey conversion on the first one, he was parallel with the air.
Yeah.
Like he was parallel with the ground. I mean, like he was literally in orbit and threw that ball and it was a first down. Like that is not normal. Like that's not stuff that garden variety quarterbacks are capable of doing. He is capable of doing stuff. It's not. I don't think it's too hyperbolic to say that he is capable of doing stuff as a quarterback that no one can do right now.
And I don't think anyone in history has been able to do.